Good morning. Good morning. Good, beautiful, wonderful morning here at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here on the Best Bank, the West Bank, and we are so happy. Are you happy?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services, and my co-host
Ralph Gavin.
Ralph Gavin. Hey, from Treme, what I say. We're here today, and we're glad that you're here with us. Don't forget, please download us, New Orleans Talk Network, and also you can do this on Facebook, all the way live. And also, we also have, guess what? Hey, YouTube.
Girl, go ahead.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So you can take us wherever you go. Again, this is New Orleans Talk Network, our beautiful studio. We have a beautiful studio, believe it or not. And I've been to WWL channel 8, 6, and all of the above. However, this compares to those studios and even better. And even better. So we're on the West Bank, the Best Bank, and I would love to tell you that we're here today to share with you some very important information that you may or may not know. So please listen carefully. Mr. Gavin?
Yes, ma'am. The United States of America
The United States of America
has just celebrated one of their more popular holidays,
which is,
which is the 4th of July,
oh, say, can you see?
Independence Day.
Oh, say, can you see?
Oh, yes. But whose independence was it?
Yes, we want to see. Let us see what it is.
So I'm leading into that to say this. We will try to give the listening community or public, got to be careful how you say community, because that involves a combined interest of people with one mind and living in one environment and having one set of views and everything. But, you can look up the word community. But anyway, we need to get into this 4th of July celebration. And as a lead-in, I have some historical orations from Frederick Douglass. And I'd like to introduce that speech, in which he made in New York, to a white audience. And he gave his sincere views on how he really felt about why should blacks in America celebrate the 4th of July. So if the technicians are in...
They're on it, doggone it. We have some very sharp technicians,
they're always in
Michael
sync.
and Terry Jones, they are on it. And we're gonna play this excerpt on
why blacks should celebrate the 4th of
Okay,
July.
are you ready to hear this?
From Frederick
We're ready.
Douglass.
Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, once a slave, became a brilliant and powerful leader of the anti-slavery movement. In 1852, he was asked to speak in celebration of the 4th of July.
Fellow citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak today? What, to the American slave, is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a stream, a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
I have never heard that, and I know you have, being a historian. But wow, that is strong.
And Frederick Douglass was a man that was so courageous.
Yes.
He made that speech boldly in the days where they would lynch him coming out of the building. You see? So therefore, it goes to show you how great his courage was, his bravery was, his intestinal fortitude. Even though in the face of death, he was willing to speak the truth.
The whole truth.
To power.
And nothing but the truth.
Oh, yes.
That's awesome.
So every black person should listen to that
They
speech,
should. They really should. They really should.
and stop celebrating the 4th with a 5th.
I guess so many people are so down and out. They look for every opportunity. They don't know the meaning. However, they look for every opportunity to celebrate. So, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, it doesn't matter for them to get out and have a good time. And like you say, with a 5th, or, with a 40 or whatever they celebrate with. So I think that's really the gist of it. I don't think they really know the meaning of it or care about the meaning.
No, they don't
It is
care.
a day to get a 5th or a 40.
Mm-hmm.
So they can drink a 5th or a 40 with their friends and do a little barbecuing and a little, whatever they do, to celebrate, drink and smoke or whatever. And they celebrate. So, you just can't take celebration away because they don't have many opportunities to celebrate or any reasons to celebrate really now, today, or ever. So, that's, this and that. There's a 50, like they say, 50 on one side and 50 on the other side. They want to celebrate. It's not about the reason. It's about the 50, the 5th, and the 40. The 40
Well,
ounce.
we never had a problem with celebrating
Right,
foolishness and folly.
right.
Even when Moses went up in the hills of Mount Sinai, the children of Israel were saved. But they forgot just that quick. They got selective amnesia. Huh? And when he came back down with the 2 tablets, the book of life, what we was doing? The newest bus stop, huh? The newest shingling. Yeah. The newest slop. The newest twist. Huh?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we
And they had a party, huh?
Oh, that golden ox.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That road rides on the front of Rex float every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, they had the party, huh?
Yeah, Bill.
Wow.
That's what we would celebrate.
Wow.
See, we're an impatient people, but it took us 40 years.
Hey.
God said, look, I'm going to erase all of y'all from the face of the planet. You're going to roam these deserts for 40 years till all y'all gone. All you little party people. Huh? So you got to be careful what you celebrate. You see, instead of celebrating, we got to educate. Huh? And realize what we're really celebrating. See, you can memorialize, you can celebrate, huh? You can commemorate, huh? But at least have the knowledge of what you're doing, because God don't like foolishness and folly.
No, he doesn't. Not at all.
And he said, my people do what? Perish for their lack of knowledge. So I'm glad we were able to share that that oration by James Earl Jones, which was written and spoken by Frederick Douglass. And it's just a minuscule dose of knowledge in which we try to impart with you so that we can become a more knowledgeable, a more enlightened
Community, yeah?
community or people.
Or people.
Because
Right.
we don't have any more black communities
Yeah.
established. No.
Yeah,
The
you're right about
yuppie,
that.
the young urban professional, white young urban professionals, they've gone all around the country and broken up all the black communities. They're buying up all the land and all the houses and stuff like that. So it's very difficult to say, oh, we have a black community. You see. We don't even have the projects no more. And the word project means plan.
Wow.
That meant they plan to set you up on these concrete reservations so you can destroy yourself. Control and containment. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed
Anywho,
hope y'all
yes,
enjoyed
yes,
Frederick Douglass'
I
speech.
definitely did. I've heard a lot about it. One of my other friends, and I have not heard it a lot about it, and not hearing it is it's a difference. So I'm very happy that you did have that presentation for us today, Mr. Gavin.
Well, moving right along, and in the same month of July, I would like to speak in reference to the murder of Lemuel Augustus Penn. Now, Lemuel Augustus Penn was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army Reserve, and he was born September the 19th, 1915, in Washington, D.C. That was his home. He died July the 11th, 1964, in Madison County, Georgia. And his place of burial was Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington, Virginia. He was awarded the Bronze Star Medal, and his branch of service was the U.S. Army. His allegiance, of course, was the United States. And some of the battles in which he was involved in was World War II and the New Guinea campaign, and the Philippines campaign. Now, as he dedicated his service to the United States, one day he was in Fort Benning, Georgia. Him and a couple of his military companions or friends, one was named Charles E. Brown, and the other guy, John D. Howard. And Lemuel Penn was trying to return home to Washington, D.C., so they decided to take some back roads, take a little shortcut. Now, during that incident, they were observed and accosted by some Ku Klux Klan members. And they followed these three military men, still in uniform. And one of the Klan members said, "We're going to kill us a Negro tonight." Huh? Just out of clear blue sky.
Wow.
Didn't care whether he was in uniform or not. Now, Lemuel Penn was the type of black soldier that didn't get involved in the civil rights movement or anything like that. He stayed neutral. He wasn't really outspoken or subversive, made any, statements against the government or anything like that. He just held his dignity and his pride and was just trying to get home back in Washington, D.C. So the three white Klansmen, they drove alongside their Chevy 2. And one of the white Klansmen stuck a shotgun out the window and blew his face off. Huh? For nothing. So eventually, the whole nation became in an uproar. I can't say the whole nation because you still had a lot of racists in the country. But it was brought to the attention of Lyndon Baines Johnson, and he had that killing or murder investigated. So he sent the FBI down to Georgia. I think it was Athens, Georgia at the time. That's the little county he got killed in. And they investigated, they arrested 3 individuals. Now, of course, the 3 individuals, they were tried by an all-white jury. You know, the same gumbo, the same mixture. And they were acquitted. But I'm saying that to say this. You have World War II black veterans. that were treated less and showed less respect than the German prisoners.
Wow.
Huh?
Yes.
You had segregation in the OSOs, the Officers Services Organization, whereby for their relaxation, the black soldiers had to go to their little party hall,
Yeah, understand that.
and the white soldiers had their segregated organization.
Right. It was so segregated during that time. I've heard a lot about that, and it's very interesting. But we are going to take a short break at this time, and we're going to come back with some more information. And I'm pretty sure that you'll be interested in hearing what Mr. Gavin has to say. Thank you.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
Hello, this is Dr. Glenda E. Williams,
This is Charles Stewart.
Dr. Anthony Williams.
and I want to encourage you to join Church Without Walls every Monday morning from 11 a.m. to 12 noon.
And we want to encourage you to promote God's plan and not man's plan.
Don't you dare miss it.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Well, good morning to you. I'm Bishop Carol Dufour Sr., and this is my wife, Pastor Charlene Dufour, and with Living Witnesses Ministries. We're coming to you from New Orleans Talk Network.
We will be coming live to you every Wednesday morning from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Central Time. The name of our program is Living by the Word Daily. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Join in on Mondays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. for Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry. There are no limitations or boundaries. We talk about life, and guess what? That includes you. So download the app today, New Orleans Talk Network, and subscribe on YouTube. That's every Monday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. New Orleans Talk Network, Breaking the Silence with Dr. Patricia Fry.
There's soul food, and then there's food for the soul. At a time where we live to eat, the Praline Connection restaurant serves up recipes that reach back into days long gone. You know, the kind of meals your mama cooked up for Sunday dinner. Fried chicken with macaroni and cheese and candied yams, homemade meatloaf with garlic mashed potatoes and string beans, or Nolan's filet gumbo. That's the real soul you get only at the Praline Connection restaurant, located at the Kona, Charters and Frenchman Street in the Marinade.
Joining us at New Orleans Talk Network, our Facebook page is live, and also you can download us, New Orleans Talk Network. We're here for you every day and every way. You can take us anywhere you go, anywhere you go. Also, you can go anyway and you can go anywhere. But please take us with you, New Orleans Talk Network. This is Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services, and my co-host.
Ralph Gavin.
Yes, Mr. Gavin was definitely explaining to us some of the things that I'm not sure if you know of or not, but the Independence Day was very interesting. And also sharing with us some of the facts that we have been through, and some of the things that we're still going through with our new president, 45. So please listen very carefully. If you have anything to ask us, you can definitely call us at 504-341-8255. We're going to start off this segment with the word of the day, and Mr. Gavin has a lot to say, as I said before, but please listen, learn, and share. Mr. Gavin?
Yes, I'd just like to finalize some information about Lemuel Augustus Penn. He was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army Reserve, but he also was the assistant superintendent of Washington, D.C.'s educational system. And he had very strong credentials as far as academics is concerned. So moving right along to our Louis Armstrong Family Services word of the day. In relationship to this patriotic demeanor that has spread around the country due to these so-called celebrations. Here's a word that relates to the Constitution. And the word is unalienable. 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 And it simply means not transferable to another, or not capable of being taken away or denied. Something wrong with that picture. Something ain't right with that picture. It must not pertain to us. So anyway, it also means inalienable. Inalienable. Inherent in the U.S. Constitution is the belief that all people are born with an unalienable right to freedom. They left some folks out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's our first word of the day. Unalienable. Yeah. So
And the second word is?
So y'all marinate on that.
Yeah, marinate on that. Laugh too.
Our second word of the day is perdition.
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 Okay.
Excuse me.
Perdition. Perdition.
Perdition simply means utter destruction. A state of being in hell forever as a punishment after death. Damnation. An example quote or example sentence is, sinners condemned to eternal perdition. The etymology of perdition is from Old French. Perdition. PERDICIUN. From late Latin, perdition. From Latin, perdo. PRDO. Which simply means I destroy or I lose. Now, as a noun, perdition means countable or unaccountable. And as a plural, perditions or eternal damnation. Number 2, hell, absolute ruin. And here's a sentence that relates to perdition. If you say someone is on the road to perdition, you are saying they are on the road to hell.
That's right.
In Thessalonians 1:1, Luke 2, verses 1 and 3, kind of elaborates on that. So those are the words of the day. Unalienable.
Yes.
And perdition.
Okay. Right. The words of the day. I'm pretty sure we're familiar with those, or maybe not. So you've learned the word of the day, and please share it. Use it. Like they used to do us in grammar school. We had a word of the day. They didn't call it that. However, what they did was to make a sentence out of the word. You remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we had to make a sentence out of the word, and we had to stand up in front of the class and use it. So that made us remember. And sometimes we try to use it in different ways, but they made sure that we were corrected. So those words, and we know you're not illiterate, and we know you know a lot of things. However, it's good to learn, and use it. Maybe you do know the word, but you never use it, and maybe you can use it. And make sure that is one of the words that you use every day.
And if you can go back to the old way of teaching, how they made you say the word.
Yes.
Write the word.
Right, and
Break it down.
break it down in syllables, right? You know, I have great grandchildren. I know you know that. However, they don't teach that anymore. You know, and I say just break it the word down. They say, well, how do you say this word? How do you say that word? How do you say what word? What you do is actually break it down in syllables, and you can learn any word because it's little words. All little words or phrases or alphabets, and you break it down. You know, you can break it down into syllables, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you'll be able to pronunciate it better. So I always teach my great grandchildren. They don't teach that anymore.
Oh, you don't have real teachers.
And break it down, break it down, break it down.
You don't have black teachers
Yeah,
that
that's
love
true.
those black
That's
babies.
true. That's
anymore.
true. That's true.
Those babies can't relate, and they can't relate to the babies.
No, they can't. They really can't. It's one of those things that we have to step in and do it. You know, we can't say they don't do. Okay, we have to do it. And that's what I do with my great-grandchildren. I say the syllables. They say syllables. What is that? You know, they pronunciate it. But I'm teaching, and hopefully I can teach more, and everyone can, because it can happen.
You say syllables now, they think you're talking about a new kind of cereal.
Really?
You put milk in that mug?
Yeah, syllables. What is that? What is that? And you were sharing some other information with us, Mr. Gavin. We have a few minutes left on this segment, and we're going to make sure we get it all in today. Get it all in.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Well, there's just one last topic I'd like to attempt to share with the listening audience. And we're so adamant about this Democratic thing. Oh, I would never be a Republican. Oh, not me. You see, but you have to go down and trace the history of the Democratic Party. You see. The Democrats were the first to establish the Ku Klux Klan. The Democrats did not vote for the 14th Amendment. Yes. The Democrats caused the Great Depression. Oh, yeah. And some of your more prominent Democrats that you may be familiar with, just a few: George Wallace, Bull Connor, Lester Maddox, John Slidell, Judah P. Benjamin, and Lyndon Baines Johnson, the guy who supposedly passed the Civil Rights Act. Yeah. And you know what Lyndon Baines Johnson said when the Civil Rights Act was passed? By us being so involved and so steadfast in believing in the Democratic Party. He said, I'm going to have these Negroes voting for the Democratic Party for the next 200 years. Lyndon Baines Johnson didn't give a damn about you. Don't get it twisted. You see. So when we dig a little deeper, oh, how that truth, it grows like a great oak tree. And it spreads its branches all over. Yeah. And the little leaves of knowledge begin to fall on the less, the people that don't know, huh? See, that thing called light, we stand under the tree to keep the light from shining down on us. Wow. Y'all didn't hear me. Not knowing that light is good for you. So we get little tidbits of information, and we take it and run with it. Instead of going in the kitchen and dipping a spoon in the gumbo pot and trying to get some of them crabs and sausages and all the good stuff out of it, what we do, we just want the pot liquor. Huh?
Yes.
So the next time you get your gumbo of the truth, get your full bowl with all the condiments of knowledge and seasonings of truth that's contained within it. Shut up, Ralph. You talk too much.
Well, we only have a short time left, and I know you have a lot to say. You had a lot to say, and people definitely, I know, enjoyed what you had to say today, especially the first part, which was our July 4th acknowledgement and also reason why. We should or should not celebrate. And some people do, some people don't. I know a lot of people that I did see on my way to work on July the 4th had on their red, white, and blue. And I was surprised. My great-granddaughter made a comment, and I was like, wow, she knows, but they don't know, why. But like I said, they like to celebrate for anything. So, hey, what can we say?
Before we close, I'd like to make a statement about the segregation in the military.
Okay.
Just briefly.
Okay.
Executive Order 9981 was an executive order issued on July the 26th, 1948, by President Harry S. Truman. Now keep in mind, bear in mind, World War II was over in 1945. Huh? And 3 years after the World War was over, they still had segregation in the armed services against blacks. Huh? So President Harry S. Truman abolished racial discrimination in the United States Armed Forces or Services, which eventually led to discrimination in the services. Truman orders, Executive Order 8802. Now that completely wiped out, well, not completely, because it still goes on today. Executive Order 8802 established equality in treatment.
Well, great. Wonderful. We're going to continue this conversation on our next show, which will be here at New Orleans Talk Network, same time, same station. See you then.
Have a great day.
For me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.